Welcome to the RYM Student Podcast, helping you fit God's truth into your life. Reflecting on biblical truth is vital for the life of the believer. We hope this podcast will encourage you in your walk with Jesus. The following was recorded at one of Reformed Youth Ministries conferences. The audio might not be clear, but the message is. We hope you enjoy it.
So yesterday we talked about identity, who we were created to be, and how we were created to live. We are called, loved, and kept by God. So we are supposed to live free, grateful, and happy. And then throughout the rest of this week, we're going to see how that works out in real life. So today we're going to connect it to comparison, approval, insecurity, discontentment, obviously no things any teen girl has dealt with ever. Second truth that we learn here, if we are resting in our acceptance in Christ, we'll realize that comparison is pointless. But that is really, really hard. When I was writing this talk, I posted a picture on Instagram, and one of my friends liked it, who I had not seen in a long time. So I clicked on her profile and went to look at her pictures, and I started looking through her pictures, and there are a ton of selfies here. And I'm just going through, and I just started thinking, oh my goodness, she is so beautiful. Why is she just so incredibly beautiful? And why don't I look as good in those jeans? Why is she so much better than me? And all of these thoughts just start coming and coming, and something tells me that I am not the only girl in this room who has had those thoughts or even that same experience. Because as much as comparison is pointless, and as much as we can say that all we want, we all do it. And as I was thinking about my own life and the lives of other teen girls that I know, I realized that our comparison falls usually into one of three categories. Comparing our bodies or physical appearance, comparing our minds or our intellects, and comparing our lives. So let's break those down just a little bit more. First, comparing our bodies is the most obvious one, and I think that's because it's the most pervasive. So we see images of other women everywhere, and we've been subconsciously trained to measure our physical appearance against theirs. And this sounds horrible, but I have watched women at the beach or the airport, and I thought either, you know what, I'm thinner than her, I'm prettier than her, I'm better than her, or I thought, she is so much thinner than me, she is so much prettier than me, she is just so much better than me. And this is such an ugly, shameful, paralyzing way to live. God made your body, and He crafted it for His glory. And He made every other woman's body. He made you to embrace this body as a gift and to check comparison at the door. Comparing our bodies is toxic and absolutely non-Christian. That's not how Christians are supposed to act. It's not wrong to want to be healthy, but it's wrong to hate God's creation. And it's wrong to measure ourselves against a standard that we were never meant to use. God did not design us to base our beauty or worth on our friend or our sister or our mom or a model or an actress. You've been accepted by God, and that means your body has been accepted by God. So comparison is fruitless and fatal. But not only is comparing our bodies pointless, so is comparing our minds. And when I think of this, I don't just think of our brains, but our social skills, how we interact, who we know, what we know. And this can be some of the most tempting to compare ourselves. Yet often, I know for me, I don't even realize that I'm comparing myself. I just realize that I feel inferior. So, for example, when someone scores higher than us in a subject that we feel confident in, or when we feel awkward at a party or in a conversation and someone else just is so confident and is able to handle it so well. Ultimately, it's when we feel ashamed of how we act when it is not sin, and we find someone else who's just doing so much better than us. But again, this is pointless. We are accepted by God, and that means our minds are accepted by God, our mouths are accepted by God, our awkwardness, our personality, our introversion, our extroversion are all accepted by God. Comparison only breeds insecurity, frustration, and shame. The last category of comparison we teen girls often buy into is comparing our lives. So we wish our lives were as exciting as our friends. We wish we could go on the vacations our friends get to go on. We wish we had all the opportunities our friends have. And this feeds into FOMO, our fear of missing out. Because we're comparing our lives with everyone else's, we don't want to miss anything that's happening. And FOMO feeds social media addiction, which makes it all a vicious cycle. Comparing our lives with others creates envy. And this, again, is not the standard that God meant us to measure our lives against. Our happiness should not be founded on if we're keeping up with our friends. It should be grounded in, yes, our acceptance by God. So what is the response to comparison? We know we need to embrace the fact, first, that we're accepted by God. But more than that, we have to latch onto contentment.
For more information on RYM student conferences, visit rym.org/conferences.